to Askimo TV. We're talking with Guido Rauch, who is a wealth manager residing in the UK. In today's interview, we'll discuss the role of the client within the field of wealth management. Hi Guido, thanks for joining us today.
It's a pleasure.
What are the desired qualities of a wealth manager that the client will look for when searching to hire one?
Well, I suppose the most important one is trust, because a client needs to trust the person who's looking after his money. The second equally important one, of course, is competence. You know, he's looking for someone with experience who knows what he's doing. And perhaps these days, equally importantly, they're looking for someone who is transparent. Because in our field, unfortunately, there are so many areas where the clients really do not understand anymore what's going on, because it's a complex world out there. So you want somebody who's able to communicate that to you in a way that you understand. So competence is key, trust and integrity are key, and the ability to communicate in a manner which the clients really understand is essential these days.
Okay, and conversely, as the manager, what characteristics do you look for in a potential client? Is it all about how much they're willing to invest, or do other factors also play a role?
Well, in my particular expertise, you need a certain amount of money to, otherwise it really doesn't make much sense to have a tailor-made approach for a client. What I look for in a client is somebody where I can say we speak the same language. Because certain clients have unrealistic demands and unrealistic expectations, and the potential for disappointment is very high. So what I'm looking for is somebody where I understand where he's coming from, or she is coming from, and they understand where I'm coming from. So that is really the key. The amount of money they invest, as I said, there has to be a certain minimum, otherwise it's not worth it. But that's not the key. The key is one is to be able to establish a relationship with that person, which is not just a short-term one-off, but it's something which really continue, because we both invest quite a lot of time in it.
Okay, and to what extent, if even at all, does the client have a say in the choices that you make with their funds?
Well, the way I operate is that I have a regular dialogue with clients. I think that clients have a lot to contribute to the whole process because they have expertise in certain areas. Everybody knows something about something, and it's important to take that into account. So I have regular dialogues with clients. And we will discuss companies, we will discuss economies, they will call me up whatever time it is to discuss certain things. They will make suggestions. I will tell them whether I think it's a good idea or not such a good idea. And I will always, before I make investments, let them know what I'm trying to do, give them an overall idea, and then say to them, are you happy with that or not? And they can obviously object anytime they want. They can have changes every time they want. It is their money, after all. So very much it is their say at the end.
Okay. Now, what is the time scale for holding any single client? Do you wait to see their returns and then decide, or is it a continuous process where they're constantly feeding you funds?
Well, the way it normally works, the way I look at these relationships, you have to give such a relationship at least 3 years. There's no point, because the first year may be a fluke, you may have done very well, or it may have been a bad year. So there's no point, you cannot judge anybody within 1 year. So I would say a normal time scale is 3 years. After 3 years, you really have to review the relationship and see how it's going. If both sides are happy with it, then let's continue. And if not, then it is quite a good time for a framework to look for someone else. What happens in this industry very often, that clients, as I said before, are so resigned that they stay with the same manager for years on end, even though they're not happy, but they don't know what to do. They feel they can't really move, they don't know anything else about anybody else, so they stay, which is the worst situation anybody can find themselves in. But you should give a manager certainly 3 years before you judge them.
Okay. And how many clients would you say it's recommended to have at one time without losing focus on?
Well, to be honest, it really depends what kind of approach you have. I have a very kind of specialized, tailor-made approach for individual clients. I spend a lot of time with each client, finding out what they're trying to do, and then we discuss strategy and so on. And I want to invest in a manner which is really suitable for each client. And that means I don't want to cover more than between 25 and 30 clients. If you go to the bigger so-called wealth managers, which can be part of a bank, you'll find that a lot of them will have up to 100 or even more clients. Because they cannot at any stage be as detailed with a client as I would like to be, but that's the way they approach that matter. So it really depends. My approach is small, but quality rather than quantity. For others, it's different.
Okay, that's all very interesting. Thank you very much for speaking to us about clients and wealth management. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.